Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Bloomington residents say officials are not responding to their quality concerns.
U.S. and Mexican officials investigate a smuggling tunnel along the border.
Changes could be coming to Seadrift. Find out what's on the ballot and why the city is still under a boil water notice.
The light rain will begin sometime after midnight. Tomorrow looks like a rather sloppy day. You can see the clouds over us and you can see the rain moving up into our area. But the big news, next week, another cold blast, an Arctic polar plunge. We'll be talking about that coming up in a moment.
And Victoria East women's basketball faced Randall High School tonight in a clash for second place in the district. I'll tell you who won and give you some highlights coming up in sport.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker.
The Seadrift City Council approves holding May elections for mayor and 3 council seats, with the mayor's spot vacant since August. They also talked about water pressure issues tonight, which fall below TCEQ standards during hydrant use or flushing. A new pump is on the way, but for now, the city remains under a boil water notice. Police chief interviews start January 23rd as well, and animal control fees are on hold until a new director is hired.
The Victoria City Council is holding a special meeting to consider major renovations to the community center. They'll consider a resolution for a venue project which would need voter approval. The master plan finalized last year includes upgrades costing between $35 to $45 million to host multiple events at once. The local government code states the council must adopt a venue project first before placing any of the measures on a ballot for consideration. The special council meeting will be held at council chambers located at 1071 Lynn Street at 2 tomorrow afternoon.
Bloomington residents are concerned about the quality of the community's tap water. They want answers, but so far they have gotten little response from officials. Tiki Vangler is a Bloomington resident and community advocate. She says calls to the community's water department about the unusual color and smell of the water go unanswered.
My concern is that some of our citizens in Bloomington, I buy drinking water. Some of the citizens in Bloomington are not having that as an option. They haven't been told to boil water. I wouldn't know that that's appropriate or not. But that's not water that I would feel comfortable drinking.
Vangler says with questions unanswered, the community needs to know what's going on.
The Victoria Police Department and Fire Department are hosting the first Lunch and Learn of the year. Now, the presentation on human trafficking at the community center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. Anyone interested can register at victoriapd.com. The Civilian Police Academy Alumni Association will provide lunch.
Volunteers who are helping clean up Victoria are honored at the 3rd annual Keep Victoria Beautiful Volunteer Appreciation event. Keep Victoria Beautiful is a nonprofit organization that celebrates individuals and groups who help to clean the city. The executive director says it's a team effort to keep the city attractive to residents and visitors.
They are enthusiastic about where our community is going and their investment in it.
You can find out more about events throughout the year by calling the Keep Victoria Beautiful office or visiting victoriatx.org/KVB. Well, speaking of beautiful, be ready to take in some sunshine this weekend before things change drastically.
Taking a lot of sunshine. Take pictures of it. But why? Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis to tell us why.
You know, I can see you laying out by the pool on Saturday. But don't try that on Sunday because it's going to get cold. In fact, for the short term, we're dealing with just cloud cover and a little light rain pretty much all day tomorrow. But the thing is, we're looking to the north. A big Arctic blast is getting organized, and it'll be here as soon as Sunday. You'll feel the north wind, but it's Monday, Tuesday. We may have some freezing precipitation, and I'm not kidding. So we'll talk more about that coming up in a moment.
Mac, thank you. Firefighters are battling multiple wildfires across Los Angeles, fueled by fierce winds and dry conditions.
Yeah, the 2 largest, the Eaton Fire and the Palisades Fire, they have destroyed more than 10,000 buildings and claimed 24 lives, with more victims feared as crews search for the missing. ABC's Melissa Adon reports from Altadena.
Southern California amid another critical fire risk as powerful winds are expected to blow into Wednesday. LA officials pre-positioning strike crews.
LAFD has staffed all available resources, strategically placing fire patrols and engines in the unimpacted high fire risk areas in the city.
Firefighters gaining ground on the Eaton fire, which has not grown over the last 2 days, but a new brush fire erupting overnight in Ventura County, about 55 miles from Los Angeles. Firefighters successfully getting it under control. Search and rescue teams going house to house in Malibu, sifting through ashes, searching for human remains. Officials say the Palisades fire has stopped growing.
Crews continue to reinforce the lines, build contingencies. If there's a need for them, we will be prepared.
Families sharing their harrowing tales of survival. The Salser couple telling KABC they used their garden hoses to fight back the flames in their Pacific Palisades community, able to save their home. But her husband hospitalized, suffering burn injuries to his arms and legs.
I used the hose to control the ground fire and stop that end of the house from burning. I wasn't sure where Winston was. Couldn't contact him, but it turned out he was at the south end of the house doing the same thing, using a hose to keep the flames from touching the house.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass announcing an executive order to speed up the recovery process, allowing families to rebuild their homes as they were and make available 1,400 units of housing already being developed as soon as possible. FEMA today opening up 2 disaster recovery centers, one in Pasadena and another in West Los Angeles. And already they've received more than 40,000 applications, showing how dire the need is. Melissa O'Don, ABC News, Altadena.
The Texas State Aquarium's wildlife rescue team releases more than 275 cold-stunned sea turtles into the Gulf of Mexico, rescued from the frigid waters of the upper Laguna Madre just days ago. The turtles returned to warmer waters at Padre Bayi Park, giving them a better chance of survival in a safer environment. Law enforcement officials are investigating an underground tunnel found between Ciudad Juarez into El Paso.
Homeland Security agents say someone built the tunnel within the past year. Here's Risha Oza with details.
I imagine people in the neighborhood said, you know, after this was discovered, goes, man, there's some vehicles that were coming at weird times of night on that shoot. They may have said, man, you know, I heard voices.
Manada said that there's a chance these neighborhoods could have stash houses in them, used as a go-between place and where people will wait out until the coast is clear.
They get them in their vehicles and then they take them wherever they can take them, either a bus station, airport, I-10. And you can get on I-10, you go all the way to Interstate 5. You have California Seaboard, or you can get I-10 all the way to Interstate 95 and get an Eastern Seaboard and every point in between.
This map shows where the entrance of the tunnels are, off of Loop 375 and near the Equis on the border. Manada said these tunnels are sophisticated, saying the days of building with hammer and pick are over.
When we think of drilling equipment, we normally think of vertical, you know, up and down. Horizontal drilling equipment, that's mining equipment. And that's what's being utilized in the most complicated ones now.
State Representative Dustin Burrows is voted Texas House Speaker in a blow to the insurgent GOP movement. Burrows defeats Representative David Cook with a coalition of Republican and Democratic votes. The Texas Tribune reports this ends a bitter and intense power struggle within the Republican Party. It came down to a floor vote to decide who would fill one of the most powerful positions in state government. In his acceptance speech, Burrows said he would work with each member of the House to make this a successful session. State Representative District 30 A.J. Louderback voted for Cook. A Texas law requiring pornographic websites to verify the age of users before allowing them access will go before the Supreme Court Wednesday. A group representing the adult entertainment industry is challenging the law, saying that it violates the First Amendment. Texas argues that minors are too easily able to get around current age verification requirements. The law applies to any website with 1/3 of content considered obscene for minors. North Texas homeowners are facing an unwelcome guest: feral hogs.
These invasive animals are wreaking havoc in North Texas yards, tearing up landscapes and leaving a trail of destruction near a middle school. Matt Howerton reports.
Hopefully this will come back afterwards, but we'll flip it back over.
Lawn of the month.
They'll come and they'll just take chunks of it off.
Isn't exactly in Eric Mendez's future.
A couple of weeks back,
Because lately,
I started seeing some diggings on the ground.
he's woken up to torn up sod like this. So he set up a camera
I wanted to see what's going on.
to find out who or what is behind it all.
A pig was on the camera.
Well, not just one pig or 3 little pigs, but roughly 10 feral hogs were digging up Mendez's yard in Irving.
Looks like close to 100 pounds.
And Mendez's home, not the only place taking damage. His neighbor down the street is going to pay big bucks to fix this, a landscaping nightmare. One home had their garbage scattered across their yard, and over at Barbara Bush Middle School, yeah, more of the same.
This beautiful pricey mess is called rooting, and feral swine, they do it primarily because they're looking for food in the ground, insects, plant matter, that sort of thing. They also can do this, not just for food, but just for enjoyment, wildlife experts say.
This is why farmers and ranchers hate feral hogs, causing hundreds of millions of dollars in damage every year, billions in crop damage, according to the state. You don't need a license to shoot and kill the invasive species on private land, and you can kill as many as you like year-round. And if you're out in the country, hey, that's great news.
My first thought was like, well, I could go shoot them, but like, yeah, I'm in the neighborhood. I can't just go out there and just start blasting.
Not so much in suburbia. Mendez has been using a slingshot to scare the pigs away, and so far it's been the best non-lethal deterrent.
I was thinking, what can I do, to do anything here?
The hogs have been a nuisance to the neighborhood before, but not in these numbers. The city tells us it's hired a wildlife contractor to handle the problem, and even though these guys might seem cute, they do attack pets and people if threatened. So folks here hoping the city picks up the pace.
It's a hassle.
Before these guys start multiplying.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of your news on YouTube. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10. A study shows who's earning billions of dollars off inflated generic drug prices.
Also ahead, more teens are buzzing their way to the ER. Caffeine overload might be to blame. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is suing tech billionaire Elon Musk over his ownership stake of the platform formerly known as Twitter. The SEC lawsuit says Musk failed to properly disclose his ownership of X, allowing him to buy shares at, quote, artificially low prices, unquote. In October 2022, Musk closed a $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. But months before, he began buying shares of Twitter. By March of 2022, Musk owned more than 5% of the company's common stock. He was required to disclose that to the SEC within a 10-day period, but reportedly failed to do so.
When it comes to finances, women seem to be the most stressed out. New research from Credit One Bank found that women and Generation Z, people ages 18 to 28, experience the most stress about money. Student loan debt and the gender pay gap are a couple of contributing factors. Stagnant wages, another. Credit One Bank surveyed 1,000 American adults for its study. About 1 in 3 Americans say they have a fear of debt. However, roughly half of Generation X, ages 45 to 60, call having debt normal. The survey also found that fewer than 10% of Americans say they have received any education on financial literacy in school growing up. Americans have long complained about high prescription drug costs, and a new FTC report points to a major factor: pharmacy benefit managers. Between 2017 and 2022, these middlemen reportedly marked up prices on dozens of generic drugs, making over $7 billion. The report highlights drugs for heart disease, cancer, and HIV among the most inflated costs. The country's 3 largest PBMs dispute the findings, calling them misleading and emphasizing their role in saving clients money. Emergency room visits related to caffeine are dramatically increasing among teenagers.
Now get this, the rate of the emergency room visits related to caffeine has more than doubled in 11 to 14-year-olds.
The rate of teenagers landing in the emergency room for caffeine overdose or other side effects from caffeine overuse has nearly doubled since 2017, according to Epic Research, a healthcare data company. Caffeine isn't just found in coffee or energy drinks. It's also hiding in some sodas, ice creams, energy bars, and supplements. Signs of overdose include a racing heart, trouble sleeping, and feelings of anxiety. In severe cases, it can even lead to seizures or cardiac arrest. As a parent, here's what you need to know. Children under 12 years should avoid all caffeine, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Teenagers should limit caffeine to 100 milligrams a day, the equivalent of about 1 cup of coffee. If you experience any symptoms you think may be caused by too much caffeine, seek immediate medical attention. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're looking at 51 degrees. We've got a lot of humidity out there, and so I believe you're going to start seeing the little light rain drizzle overnight, probably around midnight, and certainly by tomorrow morning it's going to be on the damp side. Today we managed to get up to 55, and notice we're still, in the 50s. The morning low was 41. It's not going to be that cold because of the overcast and the humidity, so tomorrow's kind of a soupy day. But then next week, it's the big winter chill. We'll talk about that coming up after this. Well, good evening, everyone. You saw the overcast roll in today and it felt like winter and kind of cold with that north wind. Well, now we're going to add to that the rain. The rain is going to be with us pretty much all of Wednesday. It's going to be a kind of a soupy day. I'm calling it rain, but it's really going to be fairly, like drizzled light rain, no downpours. So it'll be a little on the slippery side if you're driving. If you're driving early in the morning, it'll be rather wet as well. So this is going to be with us for pretty much all of Wednesday, but then by Thursday it does pull out of here. You can see the general flow of that moisture. It's coming up from the southwest, and that's what's going to be on top of us in the short term. Then after that, when we get into Thursday, Friday, we actually see a little bit of sun and some milder temperatures, but this high pressure will actually give us a couple of good days on Thursday and Friday and even Saturday, but then it's all over because on Sunday, Monday, huge cold air rolling down, and we're talking a parfait here. We're going to be in the 30s. The Central Plains is going to be in the 20s and teens, and all of the upper tier of states are going to be in the below zero kind of category. So this is an Arctic blast for real. Now tonight we're looking at about 48, so not particularly dropping very fast because of all the humidity and the rain out there. And tomorrow we'll get up to about 54, the rest of the state also being in the 50s. So we're sort of between systems. Now, as you can see here, the rain will be very light, less than 1/4 of an inch. So no significant rainfall out of this system. Now this is where this is where we lay it on the line, folks. Now here's Wednesday, right? Wednesday we'll have the rain, and then the system pulls out by Thursday. Not bad. Friday, looking okay, except for this little band of a little rain there. And then we go to Saturday, and we got sunshine and a beautiful day. 70 degrees on Saturday. But Sunday night, the cold front blows through, and then everything changes on Monday. Here's Monday. And what we see, a little icy roadway, a little icy mix here, and possible snow in central Texas. And then Tuesday, it just gets ridiculous because we start seeing icy road conditions or icy conditions from Houston through Victoria all the way down to Laredo. And then as we go further into Tuesday night, you still have icy road conditions through Houston, through the coastal bend, and all the way down to the valley. What is happening here? We might have some freezing rain. In other words, cold air comes in, then we push this light, moderate air mass on top of it with humidity, and we get rain that's liquid, but falls down and freezes on contact with the colder surfaces. What's that? Elevated roadways, bridges, metal structures, anything like that. Anything that's not in contact with the earth is going to lose heat faster, and that might pick up a little bit of ice. I'm not kidding about this, folks. This is going to be very interesting to me too, because here on Wednesday, model is telling us that we're going to be looking at some snow here. Yeah, okay, well, we'll wait and see. And certainly as we get closer, we'll keep you updated. Bottom line, it's big winter next week. Tomorrow, 55 and 53, and on the soggy side, 53 in Cuero as well. Notice that the rain is pretty much all day Wednesday, clearing on Thursday, not bad Friday, Saturday, but Sunday night, the big cold air comes in, and I've got the flags up. Alert day for Monday and Tuesday. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your cell phone, and we'll toss it to Max. And they're still celebrating in Ganado.
Yeah, yes, they are here back again. They're going to be celebrating right now here their first title here on Martin Luther King Jr. Day right now at 5:15. But again, we'll see if that changes there coming up. So I'll tell you more right now here for the championship parade here for Ganado coming up in Sport. All right, Crossroads. Tonight we had some high school hoops here in Victoria East and Victoria West there for women's basketball. We're going to start here at Victoria East women's team. They played Randall High School here tonight, and both teams heading into this game were fighting for second place in district play. And this game went back and forth, and Randall hung in there, though, and they would get the victory, though, 54-47. The lead scores, though, for Victoria East here in this game tonight was Cam Jackson at 12 points. Then Avery Valentine added in there, had 12 points as well. So East, they're going to they'll have a whole week to respond because they're going to play at Victoria West there next week, and that one should be a fun one to watch. Now, speaking of Victoria West women's basketball, they face Fort Bend Kebner there at home tonight as well, and they didn't look back in this one. They won 71-18 at home. They dominated there from the first half, and Anicia Sky and Courtney Lacey leading the team there in scoring. And again, they also got big contributions as well from Isaiah Morgan, who was huge there as well there for West. And again, they're going to face the team that just beat East there tonight in Richmond Randall there on the road here this Friday night. Now, what over to UHV men's baseball? Again, they started their first day of practice today at Riverside Park, and the UHV men's baseball team coming off a good season last year, going 34-17 and 19-11 in conference play there in the Red River Athletic Conference. And some of the star players got to keep an eye on are Julian Garcia and Jason Baker there. They helped the team out there last year, but they also got a big transfer as well. They're from southeastern Florida there, and Jonathan Jones, who again is a native here around of Texas, and he was drafted twice there in the MLB draft, their first and 28th round in the playoffs there to the Phillies, then in the 31st round there also went to the Milwaukee Brewers. So he's going to be a big factor for this team. And again, tomorrow I'm going to go to UHV men's baseball practice, talk to the team and how they're feeling going into 2025 season. Now, last year was one of the biggest stories we had in the Crossroads was the Ganado Indians winning their first ever state title in school history, winning in 3 overtimes versus the Stanford Bulldogs. Well, they're planning to celebrate this big-time achievement here next Monday there in downtown Ganado. The parade is planning to start at 5:15 p.m. there, where they're going to meet there at West Menifee Street. They're going to go across town and, again, meet then finally at Ganado Indians Football Stadium there around 6 p.m., where you'll have the judge there and the mayor of Ganado making some speeches and some other players making some speeches as well there. So right now, depending on how the weather's going, it's looking a little chilly there from what Mac's saying right now, about 42, 43 degrees. So we'll see if that stays the case or anything changes there going on into the week. And then finally tonight, the Cowboys and head coach Mike McCarthy, they parted ways there yesterday from each other. Now they're on the search for a new head coach, and they're currently in talks right now with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders. They're also looking into the former Cowboys offensive coordinator, now currently the Eagles offensive coordinator, and Kellen Moore. And then there's some other candidates to keep an eye on as well. So that leads us now into our viewer poll, where I asked here, who do you believe will be the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys? And here are the couple options. The first two I mentioned, right, in Deion Sanders and Kellen Moore. And I mentioned 2 other names, right, in Cliff Kingsbury, who's a big hot candidate as well that could be the head coach, and then the Lions defensive coordinator right now, Aaron Glenn. And right now, the vote looked like it currently was around other and, again, Kellen Moore right now for both of those teams when we looked at it there. Again, it could be anybody. There's a lot of other names. We're like a Steve Sarkisian was a name we kind of were talking about as well. A lot of other names. How about Joe Brady? Yes, is also in that conversation as well. Kind of used to be in the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator right now. So you never know who will be the head man there in Dallas, and I can't wait to see what the news will come up being there in the coming weeks. But that's going to do it here in sports. Don and Shawna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, rangers on Mount Shasta make an unusual rescue involving an unexpected high-altitude climber.
A missing New Hampshire cat turns up more than 700 miles away from home in Michigan. Kumiko was last seen 8 months ago, but her family recently received a surprising call that their cat had been found. They have no idea how Kumiko ended up there, but a local shelter was able to find the family thanks to the cat being microchipped. The family says their furry loved one is settling back into life at home, and they say it's a good reminder of the importance of microchipping your pets.
In Northern California, rangers from the Mount Shasta Avalanche Center found themselves rescuing an unexpected climber. A goose was stuck at a 10,000-foot elevation at Old Ski Bowl last month. The U.S. Forest Service reports 2 Mount Shasta rangers were on regular patrol when they came across the goose. They managed to offer the duck a quick ride down and drop it off at a local pond at a much lower elevation than they did, and that goose was cooked. Or frozen, actually, I guess. Either way.
Frozen, probably a better word.
My goodness, so we're not going to get that kind of snow here.
Oh, no.
Oh,
But
good.
yeah, I mean, it's in the forecast, folks. The computer's saying snow possible here next week. So it's going to be a big one. This is going to be a bigger winter storm than the one we just passed, the one that sent the snow to Dallas. Now, tomorrow it's going to be all rain. We'll be in the 50s, and then we clear up just in time for the weekend. The weekend, Saturday, is going to be spectacular to be outdoors. By Sunday, though, that north wind kicks in, and then Arctic chill all over the place here in the Crossroads.
I think chill is putting it nicely. Well, just like that, Carrie Bradshaw's iconic stoop is officially off limits. The owner of the New York City brownstone at 66 Perry Street, famously featured in Sex and the City and its sequel, Just Like That, has had enough of tourists causing damage. From heavy foot traffic to strangers carving initials into the door frame, it's been a long-standing battle. Well, on Tuesday, the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission gave the green light for an iron gate to go up, protecting the Greenwich Village hotspot that has drawn fans since 1998. So the owner says she's finally getting some peace and, you know, kind of has some separation there. So. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
25 News Now Sunrise, 5 a.m. Good night.